Hi everyone, welcome to Techno Training. On this section, I'll be walking you through creating an end-to-end automated pipeline hands-on. Alright, so let's see how we can be able to create our pipeline view. So we're gonna run our job using pipeline. On our last section, we already install and understand our pipeline. So on this section, we're gonna install the plugin for pipeline view. We're gonna initiate a Git webhook for Jenkins Git job repository. We're gonna make changes to the website and commit the job to see the changes. Alright, so let's see how we can be able to do that. Step 1, go to Jenkins dashboard, navigate to Manage Jenkins, Manage Plugin, click on Available, search for Build Pipeline, click on Install Without Restart. Alright, so this is the diagram of how it looks, but let me show you real quick. So this is my Jenkins dashboard. Then it said go to Manage Jenkins, Manage Plugins. Alright, so Manage Jenkins right here, Manage Plugins right here. Then you're gonna see this place. So go to under Available, click on the Available part on the Available tab. So make sure you paste this and search. So under the Available tab, make sure you know that. So this is what I'm looking for. So make sure you check it and come right here, Install Without Restart, Install Without Restart, and click that. Then you're gonna see this page. Then click to go back to the top page. We've done this part. So step 2, go to Jenkins dashboard, click on plus sign, enter view name as CI/CD, check on build pipeline view and click OK. So let's go back to the dashboard, click on the plus sign right here. Then let's name it CI/CD according to the instruction. Enter the view name as CI/CD. Can as well copy that. Then click check build pipeline view. Check on build pipeline view and click OK, just as we have it right here. Build pipeline view and click OK. Alright, so it's gonna bring us to this page. Alright, so let's go back and see what next we have to do on step 3. Step 3, add the build pipeline view title as CI/CD, then select initial job as test. Alright, so the build pipeline title as CI/CD. So let me paste that and select initial job as test project. Initial job as test project. Remember our test project that we set up on our Jenkins dashboard? This is it. So we want the job to set up. So we have to set up the test project first. We want the pipeline to start from the test project, which is from our test server. So make sure you check that. Alright, so you click OK. And my test server should be online. Alright, so let's go back and see what next we have to do. So step 4, click on run and then refresh the page once. So let's go back and run. So but before I run, I need to make sure that my server is running. So let me log on. Let me connect to my test server. Alright, so let me launch my test server. Save CD downloads. So make sure that it's connected, and you guys already know how we did that on our last section. So I'm gonna go back to my Jenkins dashboard real quick. I'm gonna go to the test server. Let me log on to this first. Alright, so let me clear my screen. Then I'll come back to my Jenkins, copy this. So make sure this is running. Alright, so now it's connected. So let me go back to my Jenkins dashboard, go to my CI/CD tab right here. And now I can click on build. The way we set it up on our pipeline, when test server finish running, then production server should run. So you can see that my production server is hanging right here it can build because the server is offline. Alright, so let me go back right here. We're gonna do the same thing, and you can see right here, you can see that my production server is loaded, but it's just waiting for my server to start. So alright, before I copy this, let me make sure that let me go back to my server. If you watch this video before you set up yours, make sure that this is running, so you don't have to do like mine, coming back and start it. Make sure your two servers are running, your test server and your production server. CD downloads. So the moment I start it, it's gonna build straight up. Alright, so then let me go back to my Jenkins agent, production agent, prod server. Then go back to my terminal, then paste that and start it. Then by the time I go back to my Jenkins, alright, it's connected. Alright, let's go. Let me go back to the dashboard, go back to the CI/CD, and you can see they both green. So let's go back and see the next thing we need to do. Alright, so let's commit on GitHub to trigger Jenkins job. Step 5, go to Jenkins dashboard, click on test project, and then go to configure. Check the GitHub hook trigger for Git source code SCM polling option. This is where we're going on this image right here. So let's go back to our Jenkins dashboard, click on the dashboard, then click on test project, go to configure. Then under the build trigger, you're gonna see GitHub hook trigger for Git XCM polling. Check on that. Alright, so we did that. So step 6, now configure your GitHub repo webhook. Go to your GitHub repo settings, then click on webhook, then add webhook. Insert the Jenkins server address as shown below. This is gonna be your Jenkins server. That means your server IP with port 8080. Then you're gonna add GitHub-webhook to it. Alright, so let's go to our repo. This is my repo. Go inside the project, then go to the settings right here. Click on settings. Then you're gonna see the webhook. Click on webhook. Click on add webhook. And it's always gonna ask you your password to be able to get in. Alright, so this is where we're going. So let's go back and get our Jenkins. So go back to your Jenkins server. So on this part, when you check GitHub hook trigger for Git SCM polling, make sure you save. Alright, so the next thing we need to do, so we've done this part. So let's copy our Jenkins job. So go right here, copy. All we need is your Jenkins server. From this part, copy that. Go back to your GitHub, paste on here. So this is your Jenkins server. You can see that. Alright, so let's go back and copy the webhook. So we need this. Copy this, or you can type that and paste it. Make sure it's just one slash. Alright, so you can see my Jenkins http / my Jenkins IP :8080 GitHub -webhook /. Alright, so that's all we need to do. Alright, you can see how we set it up right here. You can see that. Then click on add webhook, and you should see your page below like this. So alright, so let's go back and click on right here, click on add webhook. Alright, so you can see right here. So this is how we are able to connect our GitHub repository to our Jenkins. So whenever we push a new job into our GitHub repository, Jenkins will be notified, and Jenkins will pull the job and build it through the test server. If everything passed through, it's gonna run it through the production server. Alright, so step 7, go to the master terminal to trigger a job. Alright, so we need to go to master terminal and clone our job. Alright, so let's go back to our terminal. So let me go back and connect my master. This is my master. Connect, copy, and come back right here, cd downloads, paste that. Alright, so let me check what project do I have on here. Alright, so the next thing we need to do, so step 7, go to your master terminal to trigger a job. Run Git Clone, your Git repository. This is your Git repository. So let's go to our Git job. Alright, so let's go back to right here. So we want to clone this project and make changes to it. So come back right here to the project. Inside the project, click on the arrow down, then copy this and go back to your terminal and type on Git Clone and paste that. Alright, so if we do ls, you can see that we have this job, this project clone right now. Alright, so let's go back to the instruction and see what next we need to do. So step 8, to modify the website from the master terminal, go to the master terminal and connect, and then go to the DevOps IQ directory where we can find our index.html. So we are actually going to find the code inside this place. Alright, so what do? Let's cd into the project folder by cd. You already know how we can do that. Alright, so right now we are inside there. If you do ls, we can find all the things that we have here. So the next thing we need to do, we need to modify our index.html. Alright, so let's cd inside here one more time. You can paste. So we have DevOps IQ inside DevOps IQ. So make sure when you navigate into one, navigate into the second one. Alright, so you can see DevOps IQ. Make sure you see that. That's where you can see the index.html. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is to do nano. Let's copy this nano. So we're gonna use the nano editor, nano text editor. Alright, so let's make a changes right here. This is now we're making changes to our code, like we want to add more code to it or make changes. We're just gonna change this place to 2, number 1 to number 2, and basically that's all we need to do. Alright, so the next thing we need to do, Control O, enter Control X to come out. So the next thing we need to do, let's do git status to see our changes. Git status. So now Git is telling us that we did modify index.html, but it has not been staged. Do you want to stage it? So let's stage it by doing git add dot. Alright, so now it's been staged. So the next thing we need to do, we need to commit it. So let's do git status to set its status. Git status. So now it said modify, but we need to commit it to save it inside our repository. Remember, this is our virtual repository right now on our EC2, not the one that we have on our remote repository right here on our GitHub. So this is a copy that we modify. Alright, so let's do git commit -m. So let's give a message, index.html modified. Alright, so when we have that, next thing we need to do is to commit it. Alright, so now one file change, one file extraction, one deletion. So right now we modify our code. So this is how any developer will do it. So now we've modified the copy that we cloned on our repository. So the next thing we need to do is to push this code back to our remote repository. So step 11, perform git push. So run git push origin master. So I'm gonna do git push origin master. Alright, so it's gonna ask me that new Technical training. So this is gonna be your username and your password. So remember about last time I told you about the key, about the token. Come back to my settings right here. Go down to the developer settings. Alright, so if you lost it, you can do it again. So let me generate a new token, and I'll call this one Git push. When you create token, make sure you keep it, so you don't have to create a new one. Alright, then I'm gonna give it full control of the private repository and all that workflow. You know, this is the permission that I'm giving this key. This is how you're gonna do it when you want to create some stuff for particular developer. Alright, so I think that will do. Let me generate that token and copy the token. Go back to my terminal. So this is my username for my GitHub. Your username is gonna be different, so get that. Then the password, let me use a token. Alright, so now I'm able to push the code back to the remote repository. So by now, if everything that we set is correct, my Jenkins is supposed to build a new code automatically. So let's go back and see the new build. Go back to the CI/CD. So you're already supposed to have build right now. So let's go back to the build history. Alright, so you can see 21. The last build is 21 seconds ago. So the next thing we need to do, step 12, go to the browser and use your production server IP /82/DevOpsIQ. Alright, so let's go back to our terminal. Let's go back to the production server IP, public IP. Click on instance ID, copy the public IP, go to your browser, paste right here, :82/DevOpsIQ, and hit enter. And you can see on our last section it used to be blue, but now that we changed the number into 2, we changed the code, you're gonna see white page. Alright, so that means when we push our changes back to our Git repository, Jenkins pull the changes automatically and build it. Let's go back and confirm the code. So this is the index.html. You can see the images number that we change is 2 right here. Alright, so let's go back to the instruction and see. And if you want to revert back to the blue that we do have, you know how to do that. So let's go back and revert back to the blue background. Alright, so let's do ls. So let's do nano index.html. Click enter, then let's go back and change our code to 1 and push it back, and you see that page will become blue. Alright, so what do we do? Control O, enter, Control X, then Git status. Then Git is gonna tell us that we make a modify, we haven't staged it. Alright, so we do git add space dot. Now we stage it. Then let's do git commit. Let's commit it. Have an M. The message will be new modified. That's a commit message. So git commit -m new modified. Alright, so the message is new modified and hit enter. So now I've committed. Alright, so the next thing I'm gonna do right now, let me do git push origin master. Git push origin master. The same thing we do, the same thing. You must have gotten used to this part if you have done common git commands. Alright, so git push origin master. So it's gonna ask me for my technical training. That's my username on my own GitHub. Alright. Oh damn, I didn't save the token, so that means I have to go back and create another token. Alright, when you get a token, make sure you save your token. So right now I lost that token because I didn't save it, so I have to go back and generate a new one. Go back to the settings, go back to the developer setting, and go back to personal access token. Personal access token, I can get this back, I have to generate a new one. So generate. So make sure you save yours. Let me call it a new key and give it a repo, and that's it, and generate. So make sure you keep this in handy so you don't have to come back every time to generate. That's not how it's been done. Copy this, let me keep this right here and keep it handy. Alright, so go back to my terminal. Go back to my terminal and paste that. Enter, and it asks me for the token. I paste what I copy. It won't show anything, don't worry. Press enter. Then now it push. So now my Jenkins must have built. Let's go back to the CI/CD pipeline. So Jenkins must have built right now. It won't show anything except I refresh. Alright, you can see 1.7 seconds ago. So it's building, it's running. By the time I refresh again, it's supposed to show growing on the production part. Alright, so let me go back to my page right now. When I refresh, what am I gonna see? I'm gonna see my blue page back. So that means I revert back to the previous version. Alright, so let's go back to our instruction and see. So congratulations, you did like Joe if you are able to see the blue background on the second time. Alright, so this is how we are able to install the plugin for Pipeline View. We initiated the Git webhook. We made changes to our website and commit the job to see the changes. So this brings us to the end of this section, and I hope you learned. Thank you.